You're with Julian on the brown note. Joy beyond measure. Trump's worst nightmare has happened. Joe Biden has stepped down. He is no longer the presidential candidate as of about 24 hours ago. I made a video, the last one I put on the channel last week, which I rushed to put on because I thought he was going to quit over the weekend. I didn't know I had this much power. And I said Biden had to step down because the bottom one-liner would be the perception that the number one factor in the next election, as it was in the last election, is Trump voters are going to vote for Trump. Even if he was arrested having sex with a minor, tomorrow they would vote for Trump. The Christian vote would vote for Trump, even if that happened. They're locked in. So they need to be outnumbered, which is exactly what happened last time. And the number one problem the Democrats were facing is voter apathy. So, I mean, America pretty much couldn't stand the thought of Trump and Biden going head-to-head again anyway. So there was this huge apathy, but the biggest problem and the reason, number one reason of many that I said that he had to step down was perception. Perception that he wouldn't last another term stops people voting for you. Because they don't think they're voting for you, they think they're voting for somebody else. And that, combined with the age thing and everything else, was just, it reached a critical stage. They should have done it ages ago. I've moaned about the Democrats not lining up decent candidates. Even before, like from day one of Biden's presidency, they should have been lining up decent candidates. So it's either, if it's accidental or not, maybe it's not accidental that it happened this way, because it is probably the most genius political move in modern history. And maybe that was accidental because the time frame it gives the Republicans to respond is tiny. So it's Trump's worst nightmare. For a start, it undercuts all of the momentum that Donald Trump got from winning the debate against Joe Biden and being shot. He had this roller coaster of momentum behind him, and it's all been eaten up by Joe Biden stepping down. It's a brilliant thing. The next bit is it immediately turns the Republicans' biggest weapon against Donald Trump. They have been clamoring on about Biden forgetting things, Biden being senile, too old for the job. Now the Democrats are going to have a much younger, sprightlier character to vote for, and the old biddy in a nappy is Donald Trump, who has his own track records of forgetting names, calling people the wrong thing, not finding words, and being too old, and having all the baggage he's got. Whereas the Dems now have an opportunity of maybe having a complete clean skin, which would energise the voters. It's completely turned all of the Republicans' guns on their own candidate. And the other thing is okay, if Kamala Harris stands, they've got some track record there, but not as much as going after Joe Biden. But if it's a newbie, they haven't got enough time to get any momentum on the attacks. They can't build up this fomented opinion that Biden is too old and senile with a new person. Whatever they attack them with, the attacks are going to be relatively fresh even 2 months from now. And then we're moving straight into the election. So this completely destroys years of planning from the Republicans. They've had their Hunter Biden. Watch them drop that case now. They've had their Hunter Biden. They've had their Joe Biden. They've had the Biden crime syndicate. All of their attacks are now meaningless. It's all gone overnight. This is the worst thing that could have possibly happened for the Republicans. They will be absolutely devastated. And that voter apathy thing of the Democrats is completely gone. Suddenly they know that they're going to have at least a next generation candidate to vote for, instead of one of the old guard, of which now Donald Trump is very much a representative of. Now, what happens now is, of course, enormously important, and the Dems have used up their 9 lives by pursuing the way that they have gone, which was fear of Trump and keeping Biden, when they should have been raising someone up who was competent. Now, initially I said, no way on earth can it be Kamala Harris. Two reasons. One is she doesn't have that clean skin completely. She's halfway in between the old and the new. So the Republicans have some history of attacking her already for the last 4 years. So she's not as good as a clean skin, and that was a problem. The second one was that her performance has been very bad. Apparently she's been very prickly, taking things to heart a lot, very thin-skinned, and her performance hasn't been good. She's up against a major operator when it comes to the media. She can't Hillary Clinton it. Every time Hillary Clinton gets in front of a camera, you want to not vote for her. She was abysmal in front of a camera. Trump has that media personality thing down pat. He'd destroy anyone. But it's up to what she does now that if she was put in the position of being the presumptive nominee, whether she can switch it up. So initially I said no way. It has to be the California governor, Gavin Newsom. For those reasons, Kamala Harris's performances have been bad. Kamala Harris has baggage from being part of the Biden administration, so you're losing a massive boost. Gavin Newsom has none. They can moan about California all you like. He's got the track record, successful businessman, mayor of San Francisco, one of the highest positions in California for years, and then the governor of California, which is the 5th or 6th largest economy in the world, and one of the biggest drivers of the American economy. So it's a bigger economy than virtually every major nation is California on its own. So that was my initial thought, and I'm now completely stumped. I don't know which way round I want. The other Democrat candidates are bloody useless. I mean, Paul Buttigieg, if you pronounce it like that, he seems really, really good and really competent, but at the same time, he's gay, and we don't know. This isn't an election where, I think AOC came out and was starting to complain that they might get rid of Kamala Harris as part of the Biden ticket going down. This can't be about saying we have to defend a powerful woman of colour. We have to trial a gay candidate. This is actually fighting against fascism. It's unthinkable that the Republican Party as is and the leader they've got takes over the most powerful nation in the world in 4 months. It's absolutely unthinkable. So I don't care whether AOC would be disappointed that a powerful woman of colour was kicked out of the job. I don't care. I care about them winning. It's all that matters. Win now once and Trump is gone, because he will not be able to stand again. And that whole Republican Trump party will wither on the vine in a manner that we've never seen. So it's all or nothing. But the reason I've slightly changed my mind about Kamala Harris, there's pros and there's cons. The bad performances, the baggage, and being a black woman are cons. Ironically, the biggest pro is being a black woman. So the Democrats have been hemorrhaging apathetic black votes like crazy. So they have lost a lot of impetus from black voters. The other one is Muslim voters. So this is going to come down to very fine margins, and Muslim voters have been turning away from Biden in droves because of his support for Israel. Kamala Harris has recently been far more outspoken in her criticism of Israel. That could be a massive thing to get those percentages of Muslim and black voters back on board. And thirdly, being a black woman, she's a woman. One of so cost of living, the border crisis, and abortion seem to be about the three major issues. Having a woman standing against Trump, having a black woman standing against the most sexist and racist Republican Party in history would be an amazing contrast. The optics are fantastic, and they won't be able to help themselves when they go after her. They'll be turning people off in droves by being sexist, racist, and personal towards her on a daily basis. And the fact that she is a woman as well, with abortion being near the top of the ladder, and women being turned off in their droves from voting Republican because of how sexist they are, particularly since that Supreme Court ruling on abortion, on Roe versus Wade. So what I really hope the Democrats do now is even though politicians are the worst human beings alive and will not put their partisanship aside, unlike Joe Biden, who just did an incredibly honourable thing, which was an amazingly honourable thing, actually can you imagine Donald Trump putting the country first? He's never put anyone above himself his whole life. But I think that what they really need to do is heavily canvass all of these problem areas and swing states in America and say, is it Gavin Newsom or is it Kamala Harris? Or what are your problems with both? They can't be together on a ticket because they're both from California, and you can't have that. So it has to be someone from outside of California that's the vice president. And they can do a real curveball there as well and pick somebody that maybe, if Kamala's not as good a communicator, have someone out there running like a bulldog who is a really good communicator and will just trash Trump on a regular basis and let her appear presidential, because he won't. Not against a woman. So I'm in two minds, and I'm undecided. I just hope that they really do canvass what the voters are feeling for Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom. I can't see anyone else really being a serious choice at this stage. Forget about everyone saying that they've thrown their weight behind Kamala Harris. They do that every time when they get rid of any leader of a party. They all pledge allegiance and then they stab them in the back. Caesar. So it's fascinating times ahead, and the opportunity now for the Democrats is an unexpected boost right in the middle of Trump's biggest boost, which is, he could be the guy like in the Fast and Furious that hit the nitro switch too early. Not because of anything he did, it's just the way it panned out, but he might have nothing but downhill to go from here on in. Whereas if he was facing against Biden, the other thing is Biden isn't quitting. Biden is staying in position as president. He can be a third wheel here, just completely attacking Donald Trump on a daily basis. So the ball's in the Democrats' court, and this is Trump's worst nightmare.